Okay, so what if I told you the biggest game leak in history wasn't actually about a game at all? There's this viral clip making the rounds about Grand Theft Auto VII, but everyone's looking at it the wrong way. This isn't a leak. It's an investment thesis. It's a business blueprint that points to a massive, multi-trillion-dollar shift in how we think about entertainment.
The original analysis kicks off with this line. And you know what? It's not an exaggeration. From an investment point of view, what we're talking about here isn't just the next step. It's a complete disruption of interactive media, and it's something we absolutely have to pay attention to.
So here's the crucial point. We need to stop thinking about this as a product you just buy and play. We are looking at the architecture for a world that's always on, always running, with a real economy built right into it. Let's dig into the core pillars of this blueprint.
First up, the engine that makes this whole thing go. Real-time generative AI, but on a scale that nobody has ever seen before. This is the kind of technological advantage, that moat, that could put a company years, maybe even a decade ahead of any competition.
Now this is where it gets really interesting from a commercial standpoint. The old way of doing things, you have characters that say the same few lines over and over. It's predictable. It gets boring. The new way, generative AI means every single conversation is unique, it's unpredictable, and for an investor, what does that mean? It means high retention, it means players stick around for way, way longer. And that is the absolute foundation of long-term revenue.
The source material brings up something called neural drive tech. Now, don't just think better graphics. That's not it at all. We are talking about a level of immersion so deep that the line between what's real and what's digital starts to get fuzzy. And deeper immersion means more emotional investment from the user, which, in turn, drives up their lifetime value as a customer.
Okay, so let's move on to the second pillar, the in-game economy. This is where the whole thing shifts from being just an entertainment product to a full-blown economic platform. And it's all thanks to one really, really smart integration.
Integrating Google My Business, or GMB as it's called here, is an absolute masterstroke. Seriously, we are not talking about putting up a few fake billboards in the game. What this slide shows is a whole new ecosystem. Imagine real-world businesses dynamically advertising to you in this digital space. You could walk past a virtual coffee shop, order a real coffee through the game, and have it show up at your front door. The data on that kind of behavior alone is a goldmine. This creates an entirely new market for advertisers to tap into.
The third pillar is all about how you actually interact with this world. And believe me, it's not just about pushing buttons on a controller anymore. This changes the very nature of how you play.
And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? The idea that you can use your own voice to have a real, unscripted conversation, and the AI will actually have a personality and talk back to you, that's a massive shift in engagement. It creates these personal, memorable moments that are literally impossible to get from a scripted system. So what this really boils down to is that you're no longer just passively consuming a story someone wrote for you. You are an active participant. You're living in this world. This makes people spend way more time on the platform, and it builds a much deeper emotional connection. That makes the whole ecosystem incredibly, well, sticky.
Now, look, any serious investment thesis has to tackle the risks, the challenges. And the biggest challenge for technology this advanced is pretty obvious. What kind of computer do you need to actually run it?
The amount of processing power you'd need on a local machine to run thousands of these generative AIs at once, plus those a bit too real physics, well, let's just say it's way beyond what the average person has sitting on their desk. And that is a huge barrier if you want to sell to the mass market.
The source material puts it perfectly. This really gets to the heart of the problem. If your target market is only people with NASA computers, you've already put a very low ceiling on your potential revenue. But there's a really clever solution.
And this is where the cloud link idea comes into play. Instead of making your computer do all the heavy lifting, you offload it all to the cloud. You stream it. And just like that, the hardware problem completely disappears. As you can see here, this approach turns a super expensive niche product into a scalable platform that anyone can access, probably through a monthly subscription. It actually turns the single biggest weakness into a massive strategic advantage.
So let's recap. We have the technology, we have the new in-game economy, and we have the distribution model figured out. So what does that market opportunity actually look like? Let's try and put some scale to this.
This chart gives you a sense of the jump we're talking about. That first bar, that's the current market for in-game ads. It's pretty big, sure, but it is nothing, I mean nothing, compared to the potential of a fully integrated AI-driven platform. We're not looking at a small step up. We are looking at an exponential growth curve. This isn't just about gaming anymore. This is about the future of all digital advertising.
All right, let's pull all this together. What is the single most important takeaway for anyone looking to invest in this space?
The ultimate vision here is crystal clear. It's about building a digital reality that is always on, constantly evolving, constantly alive. And built right into its DNA is a marketing platform that is just as dynamic, just as intelligent, and frankly, way more effective than anything that exists today.
And that really just leaves us with one final question. The tech is incredible. The economic potential is enormous, but it's also a huge leap into a brand new kind of reality. So, is this the next great frontier for investment? Or is the speed of this change maybe just a little too scary?
For those of you who want to keep a close eye on how all this develops, the source of this whole analysis, CollabGenerate, is focused on exactly that, staying ahead of the curve as these new realities start to form. It's definitely a space to watch.